to the Most High. I'm going to go ahead and start this one off by asking y'all a simple question. Is there a solution for autism? And what I wanted to do today is come through and pretty much just share some awareness. And one of the things that I've been dedicated to lately is providing services, specifically behavioral analysis services, to kids, to young adults that have been diagnosed with autism. And so I just wanted to really bring this discussion out as far as wanting to bring light onto what's really taking place. And so hear me out. Let's get that definition of autism and what it truly means, or what people pretty much understand it to be. Because we are living in a day and age right now where, as you can see, the studies have been showing an increase in the rate of people being diagnosed with autism. And so, what does it truly mean? And they say we're in the Autism Awareness Month, so definitely been trying to do my part in sharing what autism is, sharing how I impact and have an influence within this study, and just wanting to really bring some more awareness so that we can help create a change and have a positive narrative for what it truly is, or come up with solutions rather than talking about the problems or the people who are diagnosed as problems. So autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, they classify it as a neurological or developmental disorder that affects how people interact, communicate, learn, and behave. So just based off of that definition, in all honesty, there seems to be some type of breach with neurotypical. There seems to be some type of lapse in understanding of how to genuinely interact, how to effectively communicate, how to observe and learn, and how to behave. And the question I wanted to spark to you all today is, there a solution for autism? Is there? And when we look at the definition, pretty much a solution would be able to have some type of order in the development of people. And do we even see that now in this day and age, where the development of kids is some type of orderly fashion? Or is it all over the place? And so when you have the development of a child that is all over the place, do you think they're going to interact with others appropriately? Do you think they're going to communicate effectively? Do you think they're going to learn and retain things in order for them to grow? Do you think they're going to behave socially acceptable? And so this is what we have to look at in society right now, in this day and age, and be honest with one another. Are we teaching children in order? Are we teaching children in an fashionable order where they can receive information to be able to develop functionally? And so, as you guys can see, I got a green screen and it has some studies on it. The CDC, or the Center for Disease and Control, has 1 in 36 children, come on now, have autism. That's up from 1 in 44. This tells me that there's been a rise in people who have a developmental disorder. There have been a rise in people who do not know how to interact with one another. There has been a rise in a lack of communication, in the inability to learn and behave appropriately. Those things have been missing. And so, hear me out, another study. And they're just not bringing this out, family. And I seen, who's this guy called? RFK. He's like the board administrator for health or something like that, where he's pretty much speaking about the population of ASD individuals and saying what most people would say was very grotesque. And we have to consider, if you have an individual that has a developmental delay and they don't receive the correct interactions to be able to improve. So you have a kid that has a neurological or developmental disorder, and they don't receive the services, they don't receive the solutions to be able to improve on their interactions with other people. They don't receive the services to be able to communicate effectively. They don't receive the services to be able to learn or retain information, nor do they receive services on how to behave appropriately. What do you think they're going to grow into? And so here's another study. The CDC found that males are nearly 4 times more likely to be diagnosed with autism than females. So again, we have a developmental disorder that impacts men more. What does that tell me? Well, if I can share with you my humble opinion, when you have men that do not know how to interact with one another, communicate, you don't have the learning capacity, nor do you not know how to behave. When you have men in a society like that, that's going to veer from the path of progression. Let's just be honest. Because men are the builders. Men are supposed to be the leaders. So when you have people who are in a leading position who do not know how to interact with one another, who do not know how to communicate, who can't even learn anything, who you have to tell how to behave appropriately. What is that going to say for our society moving forward? What is that going to say for this so-called country where we're seeing a rise in this developmental disorder? Let's see. Here goes another fun fact for you. In 2020, there was a study that showed that Black, Asian, and Hispanic children had higher overall autism prevalence than, let's just say, their Caucasian counterparts. And when I tell you, family, there is nothing new under the sun, because if you look back in the day, as far as back in the times of the biblical days, there was a decree that went out that pretty much stated that all young men should be taken away because the king at the time, he just didn't want anybody rising up. He didn't want anybody to have knowledge of who they were to be able to combat his authority. What do you see what's going on right now? I see it rising up. I see people actually coming to sense of presence, knowing that they're here for a purpose. And let's just keep it real. Many people that are in position of power, if you have others rising up, it's going to be threatening. You're going to try to keep your position of power because who wants to feel powerless after they have so much control over everything? And so this is where I'm starting to see things, and obviously everybody can have their own opinion and bring forth theoretical conversations, hypothetical situations many people may bring up. But in the reality of the fact is, you see this developmental disorder affecting people who are wanting to regain their position of power back in life. You see this developmental disorder affecting the men more than the women. So what's really going on? And is there a solution for autism? I say yeah. And not a solution of drugs, medication, not a solution of where we're trying to find the science around what's going on here. I think it's more so spiritual. I think it has to do with something internal that we as people, as a race of human race, have to acknowledge, have to be real with one another about. Given the advancements of technology, given the smart devices, how are we continuing to see a rise in development delays? If everything is so smart around us, how come people aren't so smart? Hear me out. It's really a conundrum. It's really something to behold, and the awe, the contrariness. It's a spectacle. And that leads me to think one thing. There's something behind this so-called disorder that is not so much physical. It's a mental, spiritual disconnect. And so when I see anything that has to do with the brain, neurological disorders, know that your brain is very sensitive. And many of the drugs in the health industry, keep in mind, drugs, which drug you up, drugs are meant to alter your mind, not heal your mind. Hear me out, family. Drugs are meant to alter your mind, not heal your mind, because that would be considered a medicine if it was going to heal you. But the simple fact that people give you drugs, that doesn't mean that they want you to be healthy. They just want to alter, or in some cases, dilute or numb. I really want to bring awareness to what's going on up here and what's going on in here. This is a mind heart matter where people are gaining so much knowledge and science, the studies of all of this so-called developmental delay, developmental disorder, intellectual disorder, whatever you want to call it. There's so much science behind it, but yet no solution. They're still talking about it as it's a problem. So my question to you all, is there a solution for autism? I believe yes. But in the facet of what the medical industry is moving towards right now, uh, I guess only time will tell as more studying and more testing is going to come about. The data is being collected right now as far as the new wave of children who are going to be diagnosed that's going to result in possibly, hey, they say 1 in 36 children, man. And the sad truth, I'm going to say that that percentage might be even higher. It might be around 1 in 20. It might be around 5%. And if we do not discuss this, guess what? There's going to be even more increase. Because if you have, they say that you could be born with this, right? So keep in mind, if you can be born with a developmental disorder, delay, intellectual disorder, that means that you can pass it on. So the fact that it's on the increase right now, meaning that more and more people are having it, the more and more people who procreate, it's going to create more of individuals who are diagnosed with autism. And where will it stop? When will we find a solution to say that the society right now is, it's on the verge? It's on the verge of challenges being presented to us, and there seems to be no one who is able to bring forth solutions. With all of these challenges, and hear me out, know that this diagnosis, this disorder, I've seen it as I've been in this so-called professional field for about 10 years now. I've seen practices or I've seen implementations of programming and behavior alternative solutions to be able to provide people who are diagnosed with this disorder to be able to have a functionality in life. So I've seen the lessening of the disorder. But truth be told, with it increasing at such a rapid rate, will there even be enough services being provided to people to be able to counteract the increase? And just as I'm watching these so-called scientists bring out information, the simple fact is there is no cure. Once you're diagnosed with a developmental delay disorder, there is no secret medicine that they can give you to say, hey, your brain is healed. This is gonna stay with you for life. That's what they tell you. And so imagine this, where they have difficulties with engaging or interacting with people socially. They have restricted or sometimes repetitive behaviors where, you know, you meet a person, you don't know why they're blurting out certain words. You don't know why they keep on saying the cat is brown, the cat is brown. You don't know why they keep on walking back and forth. You don't know why they're so sensitive to everything that's around, the light, noises. And you see people like this and you question, what's going on? Well, this may be a person that you've encountered that have a developmental disorder, aka autism. And these behaviors, they show forth in many different ways where the behavior or the function of someone's body is not easily controlled by themselves. Hear me out, family. Being in your body and not being able to, per se, control your eyes moving or control your hands flapping, to be able to say that you can't even control your body rocking back and forth because there's a neurological delay disorder influence going on in your brain right now that enables you to control that functioning of your body. And I'm saying this because I'm giving you guys some type of awareness in the best way that I can. And I hope that I'm making it clear to you all of what's really happening here. People are losing cognitive function of their bodies. And is there a solution for that? Yeah, I got 100% of the people in the chat said yes. Hey, well, bring it out. What's your solution? Let's build. Let's try to find a solution because we as people have to come together. We as a nation have to come together to solve this. Not just the scientists, not just the people who feel as though they can give you drugs to be able to alter or dilute or even, let's just say, look away from the problem, because that's what's going on right now. The drugs are turning people mindless to not even look at what's going on. And when I say drugs, family, I'm talking about not just the medicating properties of what do they call that? ADHD medicine or the Adderall. I'm not just talking about that. I'm also talking about the food too. Because many of the foods that are out here and being advertised to the world, hey, it's not healing your body. It's not even giving your body nutrients. Say that it's more so, come on, man, inducing a psychological effect. And so when I even look at the word drug, and as I break down what it truly means. They say that a drug is a medicine or other substance which has a psychological effect when ingested or otherwise introduced into the body. Hear me out. A drug does not heal you. It just has a psychological effect. Are y'all hearing me with this? A drug is administered to people to induce stupor or instability. One of the synonyms here is to stupefy.
Stupefy.
A drug is used to
Stupefy.
make someone unable to think or feel properly. And so, if drugs are used to
Stupefy.
and you see a rise in autism, which is a developmental disorder that enables people to engage in social interactions effectively. It inhibits their ability to learn. Come on now. What do you think that they're really doing with these drugs then? What do you think that these doctors are administering? What do you think that their solution is as far as when they're trying to come about and find a bridging, a healing of the mind? Because this is what has to take place. Your mind has to heal. But the drugs that they give you, the drugs that are administered, may have been causing a psychological effect. And these things, when ingested into the body, guess what? They become a part of you and they can be passed through. Yeah. Many people aren't talking about that. So the drugs that was put into your mommy, the drugs that was put into your daddy, let's just say that's still in their bloodline. And so that's why people can be born with autism, because the drugs that they have been induced with have been a part of their bloodstream. What's going on? What's going on? Peace and blessings. My brother King Connect, Steve Bless. Talking about you got the green screen popping today. You already know it, man. And so, I don't know if you guys been seeing this lately, but I just really wanted to bring some awareness because I see where society is heading, especially with this overall increase in autism or intellectual disorder, where many people are getting their kids diagnosed at around 2 to 3 years old. Hear me out. Their kids are being diagnosed with mental disorders from 2 to 3 years old. I'm talking about a baby that only seen Earth for 24 months. They're like, hey, this baby cannot socially interact. This baby can literally, this is what doctors are proclaiming. You can see a baby that's been 24 months removed from the womb, and they say, hey, the way this baby is interacting, I don't know. This baby can't communicate. I don't know about this baby learning. And look at this baby behavior. This baby just crying. Like, wait. Can we, the diagnoses for autism, and as I'm seeing a lot of these so-called medical doctors, they can diagnose a child, I mean, as early as 18 months, I think. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, it happens that early where they'll, I guess, perform tests or engage with the child to see if that child can interact, see if that child can communicate, see if that child has some ability to learn and question the behavior of that child. And thus, given the scope on the diagnoses, guess what? They can consider your child to have ASD and autism spectrum disorder, in which hey, we got a lot of work to do. And I really want to bring this out, family, because there has been an influx of individuals where you see possibly on social media, you see these individuals even in positions where we got to question now how they got there. We are in a society right now where everyone doesn't truly have an orderly mindset. And this is being brought forth in rapid fashion. Not everybody is, how can I say, neurotypical, because we have a neurological disorder that's being brought forth. And not only is it being brought forth, it's showing an increase in diagnoses in children, and more so men. And more so, studies have shown that Black, or how can I say, African American or colored, Asians, and Hispanic children have had higher diagnoses than Caucasians or Europeans. And so we look at this information, this study. What is your consensus? And what do you think the solution is? Y'all willing, we can come together to find a healing property, a healing procedure, instead of a drugging medication of a society that is suffering mentally, emotionally, and psychologically. Okay? At the end of the day, family, I pray for truth, because there seems to be some underlying factors that they're not telling us. There seems to be some roots of this being a problem that they're not discussing. I wonder what it is. And when we are talking about a problem, or even trying to find a solution, we have to ask ourselves, how did this even start? And many people are failing to ask that question. Many people are shying away from even asking that question. How does someone even begin to have a psychological disorder? Well, based off of this definition of drugs, which is a medicine or other substance which has a psychological effect when ingested or otherwise introduced into the body, I can make a very consensible, opinionated statement. The drugs that doctors have administered throughout the years, which cause psychological effects, has now been passed down through the bloodlines to cause psychological disorders. I know many people are looking and saying, hey, Lee, you're not a doctor. You can't say that. Hey, Lee, where's your degree at? Hey, Lee, how dare you go against Fauci and the CDC and say that they're the cause of this? They gave us masks and vaccines for COVID. Okay. And that doesn't take away from me having two eyes to see. That doesn't take away from me having two ears to hear. And that definitely doesn't take away from me having a brain to think. So just because someone says something is good, just because someone says something is working, that doesn't take away my ability to be able to discern and have judgment if it truly is. But as I look at society and the state that we're in right now, as far as seeing the rise in the intellectual disorder of children, and even the rise in the complete disregard of appropriate behavior within adults, yeah, has me questioning, what have we truly been inducing the people with as far as the medical industry goes, as far as the health, drug, and food industry? Because when you think about a drug, you think about something that you're ingesting, you think about something that you're consuming, and know that many of these foods nowadays, it ain't really helping or healing your body, but there is a psychological effect that's taking place. There is a physiological effect. So knowing that the normal functions of someone's body is being altered.
Physiology.
And so the physiology, the normal capacity to function, to move your arms, to move your mouth, hey, for your brain to be working correctly, is being affected. And am I smart enough to make that observation?
Psychological.
There's a psychological disorder where the mind, the mental state, and the emotional state of individuals is it in some functioning fashion. Hear me out. Is the mind or the mental state or the emotional state of people this day and age, is it in a functional fashion? And when we have conversations like this, family, I know it gets very, very touchy because no one wants to be considered a person who has any type of disorder, yet alone any type of illness. But it's time to definitely spread some awareness because of the things that I've been seeing. Yeah, we gotta make sure that we're analyzing the root of the problem correctly in order to even find the solution. We're trying to find the solution to X and Y. X plus Y equals, but we don't know what what X and Y is. We don't know the problem. So how can we find the solution? How can you heal something and you don't know what's hurt? I mean, they say it's the brain. They say it's the mental. But then the only resource that the medical industry can provide you is drugs to be able to alter your mind, to be able to alter the functioning of your body. Well, whatever happened to healing it? Whatever happened to getting your mind back in order? But, hey, family, only time will tell. I appreciate you all for coming through today and, hey, just letting me spread some awareness on the autism study and the rise of this so-called developmental delay that's happening. And I pray, family, in the near future, your brother Lee in the back scenes, I'm over here definitely working with a great group of individuals who are striving to bring about solution studies to be able to steer young men, young women who are diagnosed with autism in the right directions, giving all praises, all honor, all glory to the Most High Yah, because He is a healer. God is real. And when you pray for healing of the mind, of the body, of the spirit, of your emotions, I'm a firm believer. Let's just say I got testimonies and experiences. And hey, you don't have to alter your mindset to take part of this healing. And one day, I pray, there's definitely going to be a different conversation in the near future about the solutions and seeing the rate of autism actually decreasing. Hey, y'all willing. And being able to say that there is a solution. All praises, all honor, and all glory to the Most High Yah. Till next time, family. Peace.